Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 18.
Listen here, before we get into it, make sure that y'all subscribe, like, comment, share the content. We are over 100 subscribers. We are that much closer to 1,000 each time we upload a video. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for sharing if you've been sharing. And Blair, let's get into it. I got a lot to say about this episode. Let's go.
All right. So we start at the baby reveal.
Yeah.
Pastor says a blessing.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Tisha arrives and greets the ladies.
Yes.
Tisha was saying that Stormi was giving her the cold shoulder around the group, but she's cool when it's one-on-one and we're over the phone talking. Tisha feels the energy feels off and wants to know why everyone is so quiet.
Because everybody was talking about you before you got there. That's why everybody's so quiet, but go ahead.
And Kimmi, being as bold as she is, says, well, honestly, we were talking about the expo, and Kimmi thinks that they should be able to give feedback.
Yeah.
Tisha says she don't want no feedback.
I feel you. Go ahead, Tisha.
And Nell brings up her feeling away about not being invited to the expo after being in business for 30 years.
This is who again?
Nell.
Okay.
Tisha said she posted it on social media and that was everybody's invitation to come and she's over it.
Stop it, Tisha. Stop it.
Yeah. Nell tries to tell her she's being shady. Mel tries to jump in, giving her a word like, you feel disregarded. Nell's like, I got this.
Oh, she like,
I'm older than you. I've been through things like this before. Okay, I got this.
She like, listen here. I'm trying to earn a permanent spot in the intro for Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Okay, I'm trying to show Carlos that we are good at this.
Yes,
okay?
I could go toe to toe.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Nell.
Tisha says she doesn't want feedback because she doesn't feel like it's coming from a good place. Nell's trying to tell her, but I am coming from a good place and just trying to tell you where I'm coming from. And Tisha, she's just saying, look, I apologize about it. I don't know what else you want me to do. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
And that leaves a sour taste in Nell's mouth because she's like, I mean, the conversation got brought up by Kimmi.
Yeah.
And Nell was just airing her grievance and Tisha took it the way she took it and was so nasty.
That's facts.
Yeah.
We done with that scene?
Yeah.
Listen here. Everything I'm about to say is just don't take it personally. I am just describing the characteristics that was shown to me from this scene. So it's not a personal attack. Kimmi, you are messy. And I am not a fan of you this episode. The character you portrayed, not who you are, but who you portrayed in this episode was very messy as hell. I do not like people like that. Because this brought me back to a couple seasons ago. I wish I was as good as other review shows where they could just name the season, name the episode, and this happened. Remember that season and that episode, Blair, where Tisha was like, I don't feel like we're sisters.
Yeah.
And like, you are my sister-in-law, or basically you are my sister, and I don't feel that support. Of course, in that moment, I'm gonna be objective. Tisha can be she can show signs of immaturity. She can show signs of insecurity. She can show signs of just wanting people to be on her side.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I understand that when you are your own person, especially if you're older, you're like, I don't need to be on your side. I don't need to hold your hand. I don't have to agree with everything that you say. But Kimmi, the fact that you was there for those meetings, you was there for the event, y'all had this conversation privately in Tisha's house. So why are you bringing private conversations that you had in Tisha's house in public? Why are you going out saying, well, I don't know. Well, you know, I talked to Tisha and Tisha said she made. Why are you like throwing rocks and hiding your hand? Like, that's how I viewed it. Cause like that's not becoming. You was in those meetings where nobody didn't want to speak because everybody wanted some type of transactional exchange, some money. You get what I'm saying? So why do you think I'm gonna be open for you to criticize my event when y'all didn't even want to speak for free, but y'all gonna give y'all criticism for free? Get out of here. Stop that, please. how did you feel about that scene? Because I have more to say, but I don't want to be talking loud.
Well, I do agree with you that Kimmie was being messy in the moment.
Yeah.
I did feel like, honestly, it probably was a necessary conversation. I don't feel like the setting was right with it being the baby's reveal and stuff like that.
You are 100% right.
Yeah, but I felt like definitely they could have came together and talked about the concerns constructively. But I did see where Tisha was coming from, where she was just like, look, we got together, we had a brunch, me and Stormi got into it. But I think Kimmie was like, you haven't really listened to anybody and actually took it to heart of how it could be better.
And this is the place to do it
It's not. It wasn't the right place. It was messy. And honestly, I mean, I get where Tisha's coming from, because she's like, I put on this event and I've been there before where I've done things or I plan things for a work event or something like that. And there's always people in the rafters who have commentary and critiques and all this type of stuff, but they ain't help do nothing.
No, they ain't blow up a balloon.
They ain't blow up a balloon.
They ain't do nothing.
They ain't write a name card. They ain't do a jack, whatever.
I'm about to say, watch your mouth.
Exactly.
I done hit myself in the mouth with the mic.
They always got something to say. So I understand Tisha's frustration of, this wasn't your event. I threw it. You wasn't really helping to begin with. So I don't need your critiques at this point. I get it. At the same time,
go ahead.
Tisha's sitting around talking about everybody quiet. Why everybody quiet? Why y'all ain't talking?
Yeah.
That annoys me when people do that.
To me, I'm like, Dad, you a country girl.
But not only that, just personally, I'm a more quiet, reserved person in groups. I'm someone who likes to listen and, jump in here and there, but I'm not center of attention or whatever. So and people will always tell me, well, why are you being so quiet? What you got going on? Why are you quiet? It's like, well, if you got something to talk about, then I'll have something to say. I ain't got nothing to say. So to me, I'm just like, Tisha, if you ain't had nothing to say, then you leave the floor open for people to talk about whatever the hell they want to.
Listen here, you are right.
So if you felt like everybody being quiet, why don't you talk about something? Bring a conversation to the table.
100%. 100%. And truth be told, the way that you get people to not talk about you while you're not there, you be on time. Be on time. Because I'm sure everybody wasn't on time. You be on time. So guess what? You are the starter of every conversation. And granted, this is coming from someone who is not a fan of the characteristics that Tiffany have shown on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but this is her day. This is her baby's day. She even said, if I was a nurse, and I'd definitely be over there. Tiffany, we know you be over there.
In the mix.
With your big spoon, okay? Right. Mixing it up. But I just want to point out that Kimmie, I was not a fan of this. And everybody, and granted, I may be talking to straw men, a ghost or whatever, but everybody view Kimmie as this down to earth. She never caused any drama. She's just basically the neutral party that basically the logical one. I remember seasons ago where you did throw an event and you did say you throw events and things like that help. But I remember when you threw an event, Melody had everything to say, critiques and everything like that to your event, and you ain't like that. So I'm like, how Tisha felt about this. You even criticized before Tisha even got there. You was talking to Stormi and said you was up here. So why would you put Tisha by herself? That's important to me too. This is not a Tisha event. This is a Tisha and Marsau event. You put Tisha on the battlefield by herself, saying that I think it's a good idea for you to get some type of town hall of people that didn't help plan it and things of that nature. People who was basically a stumbling block when it comes to, well, if you ain't paying me, I ain't speaking and things like that. But yet y'all willing to come out on time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this a town hall of criticism. I'm ready. You know what I mean? I think in that moment that wasn't fair. And Kimmie, the fact that you brought it up and was quiet most of the time, I'm looking at you with a side eye. That's the characteristics I did not like that you shown in that scene. But continue. I think we got more.
Yeah, well, we move on. Tiffany comes over to the ladies.
Finally, the baby stopped eating. She's like, come on.
And invites them to meet the baby. Tiffany says Tisha didn't RSVP, but she was thinking maybe she'll come. Just to let Tisha know, you ain't RSVP to my party. But here you are.
No, can I ask you a question? What is I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Right? there's not a lot of things that guys RSVP. I'm 32 years old and I haven't RSVP'd anywhere in my life yet. What is it that is so important to y'all ladies and usually people who plan things about RSVPing that basically like that is a, I don't want to say it's a slight if you don't RSVP, but the fact that you're like, hey, you here, but you didn't RSVP. Well,
that's because when people are planning for you to attend, so people want to have enough food, enough space, make sure that you have a seat, making sure that you're welcomed, that it's that they have enough and that they plan accordingly. Yeah. So when people don't RSVP, then that gives them a false number of who all is coming and what they need to do and need to buy. So to me, that's what it is. Of course, for the show, I feel like Tiffany should have just assumed all the cast was coming.
Just buy extra.
Exactly. Just assume that all the cast is coming. But it is rude to not RSVP to people's stuff because they are trying to plan an event and to host you. So, yeah.
I just figured if you just have extra stuff, it doesn't matter if I RSVP. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Well, as we move on, Tisha says, you know what, let's just move on and celebrate baby Ace.
Please.
Tisha is surprised that Tiffany invited KeKe, but KeKe's always no call, no show. They were asking about, is KeKe coming? Where's KeKe? KeKe do what KeKe want to do.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Mel is concerned about KeKe because she's been having health issues and in and out the hospital. So she's actually genuinely concerned about her well-being.
I think KeKe got Mel in the KeKe cycle.
Yeah.
Meaning like, you know, like I think Tisha ain't concerned because Tisha like, I've been through this. I've seen this before. Yeah. Mel didn't see this. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, you know, first time, oh, I'm very concerned. Usually, like, if she show up to things and people just turn, okay.
Right.
You have experienced KeKe the way that we all experience KeKe, but go ahead.
Yeah. And Mel brings up the expo again.
There we go.
And Tiffany says that there should be another one, and she'll keep the front row warm.
Yes.
Since she wasn't invited.
And guess what? If I was Tisha, I would have been like, matter of fact, back row, please. Keep the back row warm this time. Okay, please. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. These entitled people.
And then Tiffany brings up the $100 situation. Why? When it had nothing to do with her?
You didn't even have to pay $100.
Yeah. Who knows why Tiffany brought it up? Just to stir the pot.
I mean, she got her spoon. She came over with her spoon.
Yeah. And Nell wasn't included into the $100 situation, so she wants to know what happened. She's asking Tisha. Tisha's ignoring her. She asking Stormi.
Stormi's not saying.
Stormi not saying. Like, she's like, should I say it? She asking Tisha. Nell's like, I'm talking to you, Stormi. You can't talk? You don't have a voice for yourself? And Stormi's like, well, Tiffany, you brought it up. Why don't you just say what happened? And Tiffany explains what happened, and Tisha walks off.
Now, listen here. I don't like, if you're an adult, why are you walking off? I don't understand. If you go walk off, leave. Yeah. Don't walk off and go to another part of the room and then come back. You look 10 foolish. Feet away. Like, just leave. If you're gonna walk off from a conversation, walk out the door, get in the car, drive off. That looked, even though that looks weak in my opinion, it looks better than walking off, getting a few pigs in a blanket and coming back. Like, no. First of all, Nell, Miss Nell, I'm gonna respect you because this is the first time I've seen you consistently on the show, and things like that. I've seen you here and there. Miss Nell, it's none of your business. Just plain and simple. It's none of your business why or what happened with the $100. Because at the end of the day, you wasn't invited. So why do you care about what happened inside that establishment or inside that event? You wasn't invited. You wasn't there. So it should really be none of your business what happened at the expo. Honestly. And then on top of that, don't act like you didn't just have dinner with the Scotts. So that's what I mean last episode when I was saying that, A, don't try to make it seem like you are the Scotts friend and the Holt's friend. No. If you are the Scotts friend, maybe 25%, you know, maybe 30%, and maybe 70% the Holt's. But you obviously there as Team Mel. So, like, don't make it seem like, what's the word? Don't make it seem like you are a neutral party. Where basically you want the details that doesn't concern you. You bringing up old things. And granted, all of this is Kimmie's fault. Yeah. Even Tisha turned to Kimmy and said, well, stop throwing shade. Stop being shady.
She said, stop being so messy.
You stop being messy. And that's the truth. Kimmy, you was being messy. You caused all of this. And granted, Tisha is an adult. She should know how to shut things down and shut conversations and not involve herself in conversations once they are brought up out of her control. But at the end of the day, somebody needed to be like, hey, this ain't the time. This ain't the place. Hey, Ace, just rhyme it like that. You get what I'm saying? This ain't the time. This ain't the place. How you doing, Ace? And just keep it moving. Keep it pushing. But go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. Well, Stormi gets up and grabs Tisha to bring her back.
Yeah.
Stormi says she shouldn't have to run out when people have criticism about her.
It's not criticisms, though. Y'all are attacking that lady.
Yeah. Nell said at dinner, y'all said y'all didn't get any money. And Tisha says, well, all I know is that we came out of our pocket and we didn't make any money. Then we flash back to Marsau saying they went into their own pockets to throw the event.
So Tisha wasn't lying when, like she said that, when people try to say that she said something else.
Yeah, and I felt like Nell had a misinterpretation of what Marsau said. He was saying we went into our own pockets. He didn't say we didn't get any money, we didn't collect any money. He didn't say that. So Kimmy says people who donated time or money have reasonable questions that should be answered.
Who said that?
Kimmy.
Did she say that in the confessional or
Yeah, she said it in the confessional.
Okay, I'm about to say. I know she didn't say that in front of everybody.
No.
But Kimmy, even that's no, Kimmy. Like that's not true. That is not true.
Yeah, Tisha, and they ain't gotta answer none of y'all questions.
They really don't. Like like even you said a comment of like, okay, I understand you don't want to open the books to people, but I think that there should be a forum for people to give their. But no, they shouldn't. It doesn't have to be. You would like it, but at the end of the day, this is not your event. You had the freedom to say no, I don't. Yes, I will. And you said yes, I will be part of it. And guess what? That did not come with at the end of it. We will hand out forms and give out things that we can improve on. Like no, like that's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's not how it works. But continue.
Yeah, after putting in hard work, Tisha doesn't want to hear the negativity.
Of course not.
And Kimmy says, well, what about doing a town hall for constructive criticism?
Let it go, Kimmy, please.
And Tisha is open to constructive criticism, but she doesn't like being attacked by the ladies every time she sees them.
Facts.
Stormi says her issue was with Marsau and not really with Tisha. She said, even in the moment you checked Marsau, but after the fact, you tried to have his back and got into it with me.
That's not true, but I hear you.
Yeah. Then you tried to tell Stormi how she should have spoke to your husband. Stormi says, how else should I talk to a man who's acting like a woman?
Say that again.
Stormi says, how else should I talk to a man who's acting like a woman?
And Tisha definitely said after that, don't talk about my husband like that. She said that right after that.
She didn't say nothing.
Tisha, all the points you gained from this scene just went away that fast. Don't never let nobody criticize your husband. Listen here. Especially calling them saying that they act like a female. That's a cold word because, eventually the more they say it, she's eventually gonna build the courage to call him the B word.
So Stormi should never feel that comfortable.
So that's why I'm like, you got cut off from the beginning.
No, that's totally disrespectful.
And this is why, Kimmy, you don't bring it up. Because you think I'm gonna trust people to give me fair criticism when I got the woman sitting to my left talking about your husband was acting like a female. That is not fair criticism. That is not constructive criticism. Rather, that is just criticism.
Yeah,
that is an attack. That is why you don't bring it up, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Continue.
Stormi says that Marsau is at the root of a lot of the issues for Tisha and why the other ladies have issues with her.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, Tisha does enough on her own.
Exactly. I'm about to say Tisha is the star of Tisha's life.
Yeah.
And some of the things that Tisha does, especially if you're watching the early seasons, some things leave you scratching your head. It was some things that Marsau was like, why are you doing this? Why do you feel this way? Why you let these people affect you? What's up with you? Yeah. You are a Scot. Why are you letting these people influence how you act? He even used a metaphor. He said, when they tell you to fetch, you fetch. When when they tell you to bark, you bark. Like, why can't you just be like confident in yourself? And I think that is something that Tisha been working on. Granted, she's in a better place with her confidence this season than like she was in the first season. But at the same time, you do see little flashes of like old Tisha. You get what I'm saying? And granted, that could be childhood trauma. That could just be how she grew up and things like that. That could just be her makeup that she's like working on. But you're gonna see those flashes. But in that moment, for someone, and I understand, there's a time and place. But the minute that you start insulting my spouse, this is the time, and this is the place now. Yeah. Now it's not about Ace no more. Now I gotta talk about you and tell you what you will not do when it comes to talking about my spouse, especially a spouse who last name I hold. Like that's crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Mel brings up the news that she received about Marsau talking about her and making jabs at her during the conversation with Nell.
That's true.
And Tisha said, I'm just staying out of his stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, any issues that they have, they'll talk to Marsau.
That is facts.
Yeah. Stormi says that she thinks the Marsau wants to be a lady.
There you go.
She keeps going.
That's 2 strikes right there. He wants to be a lady. It was Marsau who said that it's actually you, Courtney, who is in ladies' business, women's business. Nobody's out here talking bad about Courtney, about how he packages women products and things of that nature. So why you feel the freedom? This is the problem one of the problems that I had with the show. And granted, and I'm mad that all these men are successful men and they actually got a right mind, because they need someone with a wrong mind just to show an example of why you shouldn't do this. These women keep putting their husbands and put other people in danger. Because if I was Marsau, I'm checking the husband. I can't do nothing to Stormi, right? But I'm gonna check Courtney, because I'm like, your wife is disrespecting me. You get what I'm saying? But you keep putting these people in these situations, and I'm like, the freedom to just disrespect this man, even though, listen here, Marsau could be messy. I know we've been trying to catch Marsau cheating throughout the years and things like that, and y'all couldn't catch him, so y'all just trying to bring up something else. Okay, you always in women's business. Okay, you always doing this. Oh, you getting sued for $5.5 million. I understand Marsau is an easy villain for the show. Easy. Probably not as much as Martell, but definitely Marsau is winner up. And my whole thing is, when it comes to this type of stuff, you got to check that. That's when Tisha should have got up and left if she wasn't going to check it. Yeah. Don't sit there.
Because I was so out of pocket. If you want to say that to your husband at home or whatever, that's your business. Yeah. But to say it in front of the wife of the man, like, you're out of pocket.
It's very out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
And then, Kimmie, that's your brother-in-law. That's your husband's brother. Yeah. So it's just, and granted, Marsau can defend himself 100%. But my thing is, like, it's not time, not place, and that's a wild thing to say about another man.
And the thing is, if y'all feel about that way, within the family or whatever, keep it within the family. Don't be having outsiders call, your husband's and brother-in-law's names and stuff like that. You gotta check that. Okay. Moving on. We have Kimmi and Maurice. They are getting some work done. I think this is supposed to be like an office space for them. Okay. And so Maurice's brother Mike is the manager, and Kimmie's saying, we are coming to manage the manager because things are not being done on time. He's saying that he'll have things done by the 1st of the next month. And Kimmie said, okay, we're saying that, but at the end of the day, it's still late. Kimmie ends up filling Maurice in about the baby reveal, how they were talking about the expo. Yeah. Kimmie brings up the Nell invite issue and the money issue again. Facts. And she's saying the money thing is growing legs.
It's not.
Marsau told Nell that no one paid anything and it all came out of their pocket. Okay. Maurice, he wants to get all the information before making assumptions and pouncing on Marsau and Tisha. Smart. Because it can be a very much he said, she said thing, which I feel like in this case it is.
It's 100% smart. Yeah. And the $100 is not growing legs. Y'all keep... Kimmie, the $100 is gone. Maurice already gave it. Let it go. Yeah. Maurice said that he was hanging out with Marsau one night at Black. Marsau brought up the $100. He just put $100 out of his pocket, gave it to him. That $100 is gone. Yeah, it's gone.
But I think really Kimmie wants to know what's going on with the finances. When really, I would say leave it alone.
Please,
Yeah.
Because it's not growing legs. I think you wanted to grow legs because you want to be in the know and things of that nature, but just let it go. The more y'all ask about it, the more Tisha don't want to talk about it, the more Marsau go stand by it. It's not going to do anything. Now, granted, Maurice probably just for his own sake of mind to be like, hey, man, why you make me pay and nobody else pay? Next time I'm not paying.
Yeah.
Like it's just that simple. But it's not like this was like $1,000 fee, a $10,000 fee, a $500. This $100. And I'm not saying like, we should respect everybody's money. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's gone.
And we also know that they did go in their pockets to throw this event. So if they do want to recoup a little bit of money, I mean, so what? You already gave it.
And granted, it's not even a recoup because if they the only ones who gave it, what am I recouping?
That's true.
Well,
yeah.
Courtney gave me the $100 for the water.
But I'll make it clear, like, they handled that situation trash.
Of
and
course.
They should have had it known that they needed money from the beginning.
Of course.
But I mean, it's done now. So
that's what I'm saying.
We gonna do?
Like, the money's gone. Y'all a pay cycle already went through.
Yeah.
Y'all already had a couple pay cycles from there. And I understand it's the principle and the principalities of things. But no, let the $100 go. Because this is what people mean when they say they let money come in between families and friends and things like that. They don't really let money come between friends and family. They let petty money come between friends and family. You can choose to let this go and just make a conscious decision. Next time we're not going to be part of it. But you over here trying to play detective like this thing is growing legs. It's not. I think, Kimmie, you keeping it going.
Yeah.
Like Maurice don't bring up this conversation. Nobody else bring up this conversation. Nobody even was bringing it up until you brought it up. At the party. Let it go.
Yeah.
And I think even that day, I think she was late. I think Maurice was there for most of the time, and then she came later on. So I'm like, Maurice paid. Hopefully he didn't pay it out of your account. He said he got out of his pocket. Let it go. It's gone. Move on.
Yeah. Kimmie saying that Marsau also pops off on the ladies. And Maurice says he's just a sarcastic a-hole.
Yeah, he pops on anybody.
Yeah. Kimmie brings up the T-shirts and the Mel comment, and Maurice gets to laughing. He is tickled. And Kimmie brings up, the town hall, the need for constructive criticism, and that Maurice shouldn't be laughing about Marsau's comments because it eggs him on.
Yeah, that's my brother. Yeah. I'm gonna laugh at his ignorant comments because at the end of the day, he got to deal with that blowback. I ain't got to deal with that. And Marsau been this way from season 1. Yeah. That's why I don't even understand why people are surprised. Maybe they tired of him. But listen, this has been Marsau MO the whole time. Yeah. Leave him alone. Many times tonight, if you just leave him alone, you let him make his little slide comments to the side. And granted, he have no problem even going at his own family. He goes at his mother-in-law. He doesn't care. Maybe it is women. I don't know.
I mean, he's been saying slick stuff to Tisha back in the day,
too. So my thing is, like, he is just Marsau. Sometimes you just put him in a box. You just be like, Marsau's going to be Marsau. You just continue on. I agree with Maurice.
Yeah. Next, we go to Nell's daycare because she owns the business.
She wanted to make sure we saw it.
It is an actual building. So Mel meets up with her at the daycare. Mel thought that the event, Tiffany's baby reveal was great. The food was good. Mel said that Nell was pretty feisty at the reveal.
She was.
And Nell can't believe they didn't know about her daycare.
Let it go.
And Mel even brings up, well, you even told me that Chris called the day before the expo and Marsau didn't even mention it. He didn't even ask him to come. And Nell said to him, don't worry about it. Clearly, they don't want us there. The Fletchers bought cases of their wine, patronized their business, and really consider it a slap in the face how Tisha and Marsau handled them.
We've basically been supporting y'all.
Yeah.
We've been supporting y'all.
Yeah. And Nell said that if Tisha owns 85% of a business, she should know what's going on.
That's facts.
Mel shares that when her and Martell were in business together, they would, I think, apply for like certain grants or like federal things or opportunities. And what was going on for a lot of people is the husband would make the woman a higher percentage owner of the business to get these benefits that it's like a woman-owned, woman-run business. Yeah. And with the new partner, she's saying, you know, if Tisha has 75 and Marsau has a new partner, well, he has 7.5. Other guy got 7.5. Mel thinks, honestly, that they really didn't make much money with the Black Expo. And that's why they're not talking about it.
Of course. I mean, they said they came out their own pocket.
Yeah. And then Mel said that they're trying to raise money to build a house for an unfortunate family, and their goal is 150,000. They only raised 200.
Yeah, like that's, and I think that's what Mel's point is. Mel's point is, I don't think they forget to get money from the expo. I don't think they got money, basically, because y'all have these GoFundMe's to build some houses, and she said only how much was raised? $200, $300, something like that. 200
out of 150,000.
Maybe those 200 came from a recent Courtney. I don't know. Like it was just wild. And she said like I wish I can check, but I can't check because
she got them blocked.
Exactly.
And
she said I ain't going through all that process to unblock them and things of that nature. I understand. My whole thing with, and maybe I'm from a different generation. If you really want to be part of something, ask. Like I understand you want the privilege of someone asking you and be like, we would like for you to speak, but I'm not going to call you a couple days before like, hey man, do you got something going on that you want us to be part of? Like, I understand Chris was calling and things like that, and Marsau didn't bring nothing up, but at that time, Tisha and Marsau was wrong for how they handled the thing, as we say every time we bring up the Black Expo. You can't say, well, your invite was on the World Wide Web. You can't say your invite was on our social media. Nobody wakes up and say, let me just check Tisha social media just in case there's an invite there. Like, nobody does that. People want to feel special. But as I said, if you feel like you can do it better, then you do it. You throw your own expo. You throw your own event and things like that. We're not going to keep criticizing these people for throwing their first event and it was bad. That's usually what happens when you throw your first event. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So Mel asks if Tisha is someone that Nell really wants to be friends with. And Nell says, we can keep it cordial. Since Tisha just hasn't been very receptive to her.
That's fair.
Yeah. Nell thinks that Marsau has some type of issue with women. And Mel feels that he's trying to throw a wrench between Tisha and Mel, because if Tisha was to become close with Mel, then she's going to gain her strength from a strong woman and leave him.
Okay. Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back.
Exactly. Mel, I think he was kind of reaching for that.
Yeah. I'm like, she listen here. Well, when is this strength gonna happen? Because she was with you when like you took her under your wing season 1. When is this strength gonna happen? You get what I'm saying? Is it taking a while? Listen here, however their marriage is, it's none of our business and things of that nature. But I will say that most of the problems that Melody and Tisha had, Tisha was the main character, and guess who else was a main character? Melody Holt. She was a main character in a lot of those situations. Many times than not, it had nothing to do with the husbands. Many times than not, the husbands had their own problems.
Yeah.
Martell and Martell and Marsau's get into it because Martell feels like, hey, Marsau, you making fun of my divorce and things like that. And that's when Marsau is like, I was telling you to stop this.
Yeah.
I was telling you, a man with 2 phones is a problem. You need to fix your marriage. I was the one telling you this. So they had their own independent issues away from the women. Y'all had y'all issues. Y'all were doing y'all thing. So I don't think Marsau is the one throwing a wrench trying to divide y'all and things like that. Because if she gets with you, you go show her true power and she go walk away from Marsau. I don't think so. She got kids, man. She got kids, and that's the thing about it. When people are divorced, that's how they view life and things like that. It's like, oh yeah, you need to walk away because I was in a situation like, no, Melody, leave it alone. Just continue not to be friends. Continue to have them blocked. Just everybody move on. Maybe this episode needs to be called Everybody Just Need to Move On.
Yeah.
Like, let's get another topic going.
Yeah, we are harping on a lot of stuff.
I'm about to say, like, this is episode, what, like 3, 4, whatever it is. And I'm like, this is, like, can we get another story going, please? Like, come on.
I want to get more into the KeKe story.
Man, I forgot KeKe was on the show.
Right. Well, we actually go to KeKe's house.
Oh, man, we there?
Yep. And she is there with her husband. Hubby's cooking. It looked like he can cook. It looked like he knew what he was doing in there.
Okay.
And KeKe missed the baby's event because she got sick again. And she really wants the doctors to find out what's going on with her.
Yeah.
talking to her husband about how she is just too sick. She doesn't want anyone to think she's trying to hide her face. Husband says that he knows what she's going through isn't a relapse because he's able to tell with her when she does. KeKe is just really frustrated by the sickness she's experiencing.
Yeah.
And she has to see 2 specialists, and hubby thinks that she may need to get off the methadone. KeKe doesn't think so. Hubby even points out, like, you ordered pretty much the whole menu off the Chinese restaurant and ate it at like 10 o'clock at night, 3 in the morning, something like that. And he's like, stuff like that causes problems. And KeKe says, you know, it's more than just a digestive issue. And hubby's saying, like, look, that plays a part in it. He's saying that if he knows that there's an issue, he's going to do what's right for himself and his body. And hubby is putting out there that, like, the methadone and the Crime Stoppers is just a lot for him to handle. And KeKe feels that her husband berates her before even listening to her side of the story.
Okay.
He apologizes for jumping to conclusions, but again, he's like, it's just a lot.
Listen here, KeKe. You look like what do, like, we call those people that just have a problem with lying? Besides liar, it's like somebody that just lied. They can't stop lying.
No, like a habitual liar?
And habitual liar. That's one of them, but I don't think that's it. I think it's
compulsive.
Not that. I think it's pathological or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You just sound like a habitual liar. When it came to you having to show up for Tisha, you went to the rent-a-car place. It was closed or something of that nature. Some excuse you gave. It just sounded like a whole bunch of excuses. And what happens is that when you give too many excuses, people just go think you're lying. Even you could be telling the truth and things like that. And I think you kind of have the feeling, and you kind of feel that people are saying, "Hey, you relapsed." Like, that's what people are basically saying in the comments. That's what people are saying online. That basically, like, you are showing characteristics of someone who is not in their right mind. So my idea of this whole scene right here is, KeKe, I really don't know what to feel about you. Like, I left this scene with more questions about KeKe than any other character in the whole show. Because I'm like, KeKe, number one, I feel like you're lying to me. I feel like your stomach issue, whenever there's some event for you to pop out, something happens, that you're in the emergency room. And that can be true, whatever it is. But I don't think people is concerned for you the way that you think people are concerned about you. I think people is nosy, and people just want the opportunity to ask the source. Was that you? You know, did you get your children to help you freeload Costco or like whatever store it was? So maybe it's best if KeKe don't pop out right now. Because people just gonna have questions, not for her well-being. Maybe Mel will have questions for her well-being, but everybody gonna have questions, especially Tiffany. Hey, was that you, girl? Are you okay? And when they say, are you okay, they don't mean, are you okay in the sense of like, how are you doing? Basically, have you relapsed? Are you on that stuff is how black people say it. So it's just the idea that she's having this conversation. And another reason why people may feel like you may be back on that stuff. Your husband did not badger you. He did not even, like, in my opinion, like, attack you for things like that. He actually defended you and basically saying, look, I know when you on that stuff and things like that because you show these characteristics and you haven't shown these characteristics. I do think it's this, but I don't think it's like you drunk, you're strung and drugged out and things like that. I do think it's probably the way you live and the way you order food at 10 o'clock at night and you're not 19. You get what I'm saying? So that can play a big part. But I don't think it was so much of him picking sides more than it was a meeting of the minds. Yeah. Because to him, he's like, I'm your husband. So like this affects me as well, as he was saying, this is a lot. The Crime Stoppers and things of that nature, your health, like it's a lot. So I'm just trying to do something. I'm trying to think of something that can better the situation. Is it the pills you already take? Or like, is it the way you ordering Chinese food? Like, what is it?
Yeah, you know? He's trying to find a fix to the issue just to move this along and get out of this space with KeKe. Yeah. So he ain't trying to down you or basically make it seem like he's on the opposite side of you. He's trying to come to a solution. But go ahead. Yeah. Next, we get to Mel and Marsau meeting up. Okay. Mel is in or acting like she's in a decent mood. And
Mel is never in a decent mood. Mel is in a Mel mood, okay?
And Marsau compliments her for that.
He waved. He was like, hey, how are you?
Mel made a conscious decision to approach the situation in a positive way. She brings up how at the dinner with the Fletchers, Marsau threw shade at her business, and Marsau said people embellish, and that it was part of a bigger conversation, and that Mel's name didn't specifically come up. Mel says that my business acumen goes well beyond a t-shirt business, and Marsau, he just doesn't value the e-commerce business of just product selling. He doesn't value it.
Yeah.
Mel's like, well, you are in this business. You're selling your wines, your t-shirts, y'all's mugs. What are you talking about? You don't have a high opinion of it. And Marsau, oh, I'm in it for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in it, but I don't have a high regard for it.
I'm 100%. I 100% see where you're coming from, but go ahead.
Mel says that Marsau was trying to limit her to e-commerce, and Marsau apologizes. I think she's like fixing her makeup or her eyelash, and he's telling her don't cry. Mel snaps and says, I'm not crying. Tisha's not even going to cry when she leaves A.
Listen here, Marsau know how to get the people going. Marsau know that woman wasn't crying, but he's
a-ho.
He is who he is. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is this: I 100% understand what he means by that. He's like, this is not how I make my main coins. I'm just here. If my wife's selling mugs, that's not how we pay the bills. If I'm selling a t-shirt that says black on it, that's not how we pay the bills. I build houses. I build hotels or whatever he does with the building. I do construction. Like that's how I make my coins. I'm not up there talking about I have a t-shirt business, but I do think based on, I think we gonna get more into in this next episode, I don't think he should just limit Mel to that. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
But how do you feel about that scene?
I just felt like Mel was absolutely right for coming to approach him about the situation. Marsau, you can't be going around and limiting and belittling people, especially people you were in business with.
Yeah.
Especially people whose name is in your current business name. Skull. Like, it's just a total slap in the face, and you acting like everything she's done and accomplished is just doesn't matter because she's not doing it now. Like, she built a great business for herself and her husband because she was the one with all the licenses.
I knew that was coming.
So I'm just like, you are, and even though he said your name didn't come up, I wasn't specifically attacking you as a part of a bigger conversation, but you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you knew who you were talking about, and so did they.
Of course.
So you don't have to act like play semantics of what names or what words were specifically said. Like, we all get the gist. And yeah, that's pretty much how I felt about it. I felt like Marsau was being Marsau. I'm glad he apologized. I feel like Marsau doesn't have an issue with apologizing.
No.
He'll, I'm not going to say he knows when he's wrong, but if he can see it affected somebody, he'll be quick to say like, okay, I'm sorry.
Marsau apologizes not to change his ways. He just apologized for how you felt about it in the moment.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, he's going to be himself.
Yeah, and everybody needs to know that. Like, he's not changing.
This is not season 2, y'all.
Yeah.
This is Marsau throughout the whole time.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it right. And
it's make it entertaining, at least.
It does make it entertaining. And for people who are offended by Marsau, y'all just don't need to talk to him.
It's kind of hard,
because he's going to be offensive. At some point, he's going to say something slick. So, I mean, that's how I felt about the conversation. What did you think?
I loved it. I loved it. Anytime Marsau is on TV, it's gold. I love it when Marsau is on TV, when he's talking, when he's being sarcastic, when he's being himself. I like it that it rubs people the wrong way. Because I'm like, y'all let this man hit you with the same jab every time.
Yeah, just bop you on the head.
Every time. He don't have a different move. It's the same move. And y'all get mad. And every season he's cheating. Every season is Tisha gonna leave him. Every season, this season he has a problem with women. And it's just like, yo, and get into him, he just taking it with stride. And the funny thing about it is, I didn't even know that she had a t-shirt business. Now it all making sense when Mel gave Kim that not Kim, KeKe that t-shirt. Was that her t-shirt?
I think so.
Well, okay, cool. You get what I'm saying? So, look, I'm all for it. I like Marsau. I like everybody on the show, but I just had to get into. I just had to get to Kimmie. I'm like, Kimmie, you definitely brought a spoon this episode. Tiffany always come with her spoon, and my thing is like time and place. That wasn't the time and place to bring up that conversation. The time and place was for Ace. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Y'all be good. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.
Bye.